Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Nestor with Newer Siding. So today I'm gonna introduce a video that we have put together. It's gonna be a two-part video of an installation process with manufacturer Eva-Last. We had a rep, his name is Erick, and he's showing us how to install their Vista clad. It's a bamboo composite siding. So let me know if this is helpful. But yeah, we went to the job site. They had a mock-up wall set up, and I started recording once he started talking about the clip system, and we're gonna cut it down to 2 videos so that you can get the best of it. And let us know what you think, what your thoughts are, if you guys have done it, if you guys have some issues, or if you would do it on your project. Let us know. There's no cuts on this. This is raw. We just put the camera on, and he just started showing us, you know, how the process is, and we talked about different scenarios. So you'll see all that on this video. I'll see you guys on the second one.
If this thing is like barely hanging on there, it's not going to hold the board, because you have to remember that this is replacing all of your fasteners. So in terms of expansion and contraction and all that stuff, this thing has to, you know, this thing needs to be right. So if a guy is in there and he works it 3 or 4 times with a screwdriver, cut it, you know, put something else in there, right? Just think about that. And I'll explain these nuances as we go through. There's multiple penetrations through this, and those are all for fasteners. Now when you get the hat channel, which we'll talk about, then you'll notice on the brim of the hat, either side, there's also multiple penetrations, including ones in the side, you know, of the top, so that you can hit that hat any kind of way you want. And that's to create supreme flexibility on the wall. So if you're going into CMU, maybe you're at the end and you have, you know, some kind of challenge, you got all these different places that you can put any kind of fastener. And first question that contractors ask is, well, what fastener? And and my answer is, what's the substrate? You know, look at the substrate. If you're going to CMU, you need to make a mechanical connection of this fastener.
Get the saw and
that substrate is. Dense glass.
The drill.
Typically used to attach furring to dense glass, right?
Yeah.
You know, 3/4 ply, structural ply, 2x4, whatever. Like, what do you typically use? And if you have any questions or challenges with that, then if you call into my team or me on this project, then I'm going to get the manufacturer of the fastener that you use on the phone, and they'll tell us, right? Because that's the mechanical fastening, that's the structural connection to the building. So
did you submit that?
What?
Go ahead.
Fastener? I haven't looked at your submittal, so hopefully you know his submittal as well. Yeah.
I think I did a stainless steel fastener for what they recommended for the decking.
Okay.
So I'm going to change all that.
Oh, you're going to change that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to walk through everything first, and then when he gets the tools out or whatever, then we'll put the furring up, and then everybody will get it. I always like to have everybody smack it in with a rubber mallet just to see how easy it is, but also to get a good feel. And 10 times out of 10, people walk away going, yeah, man, I got this. This shit's easy. I get almost 0 calls from the field once.
So this clip would be installed onto the hat channel?
You missed this part. Let me explain. So I have two different attachment clip strips. One is the flat. I brought the flat today because it was easier to transport. Okay. Then we have an 1.5" hat channel that looks exactly the same on the face. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So obviously the hat channel is meant to create that standoff, right, and the gap. Your overall depth is 2 1/4 from the face of the board to the
wall,
back of the hat to the wall. Cool. The hat is
a rain screen.
Rain screen, drainage, and it covers your furring.
Got it.
The flat is, I call it like the MacGyver, right? So the flat you know, it's kind of a pain because it's flexible, but it's also easier to get into where if I'm terminating at the end or something like that too, I can lay this up over. If you have tricky situations where that hat, you know, and we'll talk through that too. I'm going to tell you how you can modify that hat, right? I'm going to tell you what you need to do where it dies into a wall. I'm going to talk through all those things.
The outside corner, that kind
Correct.
of things. How do I turn back in?
Correct. I'm going to talk through all those things, but I'm going to walk through the basics, just kind of physically showing you, and then we'll do the install. So, obviously, you have a planar surface and in any cladding or siding situation, right? The planar of the exterior cladding is only as good as the wall, right?
Yep.
I mean, this is a flexible product, so it follows the wall. So if you got a wonky wall, you're going to have a wonky cladding, right? What the hat channel also does is allows you to make, if you have a wall that is not as out of planar, then the hat channel, because it's rigid, just like galvanized hat channel or whatever, it allows you to get that wall trued up really easily. This is flexible, so it's going to follow the wall. That's why when guys are like, "Oh man, can I just use this?" I'm like, depends on
We
where.
have exterior shear, so it's going to be planed before they shear it. So you're going to get a flat wall.
Yeah, exactly.
And then in addition to it, the exterior walls are 2 hours. So you're going to, on top of the shear, you're going to have the Den's glass.
And if it ain't flat, he's going to get a change order.
No, it's going to be flat. And
Anyway,
No, well, we done. we-
don't tee him up.
No. So
sorry, man. I just lived this life. I know.
That's not the way to go.
He's like, "You're out. You're out." He's out already.
Fuck.
I got it on video.
Yeah.
It's flat.
All right. So hat channel, right? So your walls trued up.
To the point, I'm going to say, Nestor, I want you to inspect the surfaces that you're going on to verify it's
Right.
flat and there's no issues.
I spooked you. Sorry about that. I just have made a lot of money with that specific change.
Yeah, well, it's not good.
But
For a
anyway,
project manager, the guy that writes all the goddamn contracts, that's the worst thing you could fucking say.
I know.
You shot yourself in the foot.
That's all right. Luckily, it's not me on the wall.
Hey.
So anyway, so we're gonna go in here. We're gonna install this now.
Install it vertically. So whatever your little mock-up you're going to do, make sure it's vertical.
So the boards are gonna run vertical.
Yes.
Right? So then, if these boards are running vertically, we're gonna install it like this, right?
How often? 16 or 24?
So we say 16 because that usually follows the framing or the structural. These boards will span up to 24.
So going vertical, since I'm going to get into the 16, it doesn't matter because they're going to have plywood, so I can go 24?
You can do 24. So every 24 inches, you're going to have one of these attachments and run vertical up the wall. So we're going to install these every 24 inches. We'll have to cut them.
Yep.
That's okay, right? And then we're going to always make sure that at the termination of the board, top, bottom, ends, there's another strip. So once we install these strips, if there are going to be butt joints, right? 2 boards to make a run or a length, then you're going to do at those butt joints, right? You're going to have 2 boards in play. Each board is going to require attaching to a strip. So you will have your regular run where you terminate, and you're going to cut this thing, an 8-inch strip. You're going to put another one right next to it, and this is why. The boards, just like decking boards, in order to seize any of the expansion and contraction or extra expansion and contraction, it needs to have an attachment no greater than 1.5 inches from the end. That's exactly like all decking. You have to have, that's why you run it over a joist, that's why you double your joists if you have to end in a certain way. 1.5 inches from the end. And so if you just keep that in mind, again, you come, if you're using the flat, you clip it with shears. If you're using the hat, you'll cut it on there, a little 8-inch piece. And so when the butt joint comes together, here's your regular run. Now you have another run. Board A is here, board B is there. You're going to come off the edge of the board 1 inch to 1.5 inches to just make sure that clip's hitting there. Does that make sense? It could be less than that, right? It could be, so these things could be just butted up together. Now what I recommend, and this is a visual thing, I recommend if that line is not aligned with other lines and all that stuff as it's going on the wall, right, where you got a nice Erick, I recommend staggered joints, and I recommend a 22-degree cut on board A,
So we can do that.
right? What that does is that allows.
Well, you're going to terminate up against mill core, right? So when you butt
Well, I think he's talking, Scott, about floor to floor. So right now on the plans it shows right at the floor line you have a straight line, but I think that also is for the expansion and construction of that floor. But what he's talking about, these boards are 16 footers?
They're 12 footers, but if
12 footers. So if I have more than 12 feet on that first floor, then what he's saying is that to put it together to get to that floor, I can split
splice the run.
the runs.
Splice the course. Then you're
So since I'm putting them like this,
by doing, and I don't want to get too far ahead. I can demo that or whatever. We can talk.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, but all that does is that takes that eliminates you seeing the edge of that board at the butt joint, because you're taking a miter back and a miter back, and so you can pull that together where it's just hairline and still have the gapping edge.
and is that where you put the 8-inch little piece in between those?
Yeah, you would. So you go back to the back of that 22, and that's right where you clip it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That 22 is gonna travel about an inch from the edge of the board back. So if you put that,
So it's not a special clip. It's this same thing. We just got to cut it.
yeah, this is all you need in your box, right, for the installation. So anyway, we're gonna install this vertically, right? Once this is obviously what's super key, because this is these are profile registrations. Super key that your clips are in line. So I always recommend a laser on the wall, and then of course you have all these wonderful places to split a hole, to top line or whatever, right? Multiple lasers if you're that guy, whatever it is, and then that makes it super easy to make sure that as you install these, right, and we got a chalk line right here, that all these clips align. It is super important, because if you're off,
The boards are off. The boards will be off.
Well, if you're off, and you're off too many, and the less clip strips you use, it makes it worse, then you're gonna have that part that's just not clipping in, right? But if you're dead on, no problem.
Right.
So I would tell you this, yes, do 24, you totally can. But also in areas where there might be some challenge or whatever, the more clip strips you use, the less accurate you have to be with that alignment. So not really a relevant thing. So these boards themselves, so we'll install that. So then once these boards, okay, let's imagine these clip strips are in. So you can see how these boards are profiled. It's legitimately this simple. You're gonna go in there, you're gonna lay it flat into the clip strip, and you're gonna smack it, right, as close to the clip strips as you can, in with a rubber mallet. That's it, it's done, it's installed. That spring, you missed this part, let me tell you that. This spring is engineered on both this and the hat channel, that this creates enough tension to not only hold it for expansion and contraction, that's why it's important to do that double up, but it also for high velocity hurricane wind zone and all that stuff, which isn't really an issue, but that's the amount of pressure that this spring is creating as it locks that board into place. But then once we do this, I'm gonna show you how easy it is to remove the board as well without damaging it. And that's super helpful, especially on the install side, because it's like, oh man, we boogered that up, right? You don't have to destroy the board. Eric, I need some more material, that sort of thing. You can install this board without, remove this board without damaging it easily, and we'll show that as well. That's really, I'd like to make up a lot more song and dance about it to make it seem more special, but it really isn't any more special or any more difficult than that, okay? Of course, any questions that you have along the way, that's why I'm here, and you got the day. So
I
on the wall.
I
want to see it damn thing on.
So we need go ahead.
Question for you, Scott, is this gonna be okay, or are you guys gonna want more huh?
I mean, the hat channel, we're going to want the hat channel.
The hat channel.
Flat.
Yeah.
We want the rain screen. I want the rain screen.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you just, obviously the wall assembly. You just need to think about how that affects the wall assembly. But you were already 0.95 plus 3/8 furring. So you know, you're in the hat channel, you're closer to your projection than you'd be with this. All of a sudden, this would like suck everything in and just an inch off the wall. But if you did later in the project or decide that you want to go on the ceiling and stuff where you already
we do have that, right? So we have it on the wall.
And we have it on the ceiling.
Balcony lids.
Yeah.
So
balcony lids.
We're going to put plywood on the balconies. Just so on the balcony
so
lids.
Do I use this?
That's the discussion. It's like,
because there's no water.
You may want to use that for the lids in the hat channel for the
walls.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
But again, Nestor, you're the expert, so I really want you to tell me what you. I mean,
if we're gonna rewrite, if we're gonna rewrite the plans and the details, then I would suggest that on the wall, since you don't need any rain screen on the lids, and then the furrings on the wall.
Okay.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah, all right. Well, I might need some more fasteners, but we'll make this do to get started.
I have more.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna treat that as an outside corner, and then we kind of.
Well, I don't think you have the outside corner, do you? Right now.
Well, we don't have the trim, but we could miter it with that saw. Yeah, maybe. We could miter it.
So my question is, how far do I have to be with this when I get to here to make that?
You need to have the clip strip on the edge on both sides. So even if, like, let's say you did your 24 on center, or whatever.
But what I'm talking about is, like, you see this gap here? Mm-hmm. Like, how far do I need to be for this corner to be here? Do I need to be like this, or do I need to be like this?
You need to run everything top. So like top, and so you.
Or do I measure this into that, and then this lace right here, so that the piece?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So when
you got to use some plank programming.
Okay.
And then.
But I don't have another clip here for my outside corner, or do I just miter those? Or do you guys sell an outside corner pre-made?
We'll talk about what they want to do with the trims. If they want to miter, that's easy enough. If they want to use a trim, then I'm going to hook you up with Fry Riglet or Tamlin.
If they do decide to go miter, because I think that's what they had.
Right, because we don't want to see that hat channel. So you're going to have that return. So if you have the 1.5 inch on the wall, on the end of that wall, you need to return it.
No,
back in.
yeah, but do I gap this, or do I just butt it? How do I treat this?
Yeah, as long as let's put the board. We can leave a spot. We'll do one course.
Yeah.
Where we'll leave the board, or we'll mess with the board.
Yeah, because I think that.
I had a ripped one too. I should have brought that one, but.
Because I think what I'm saying is, like, if I'm.
Yeah.
Because then I gotta know too where I'm starting. Like, I can't start with this or this.
So I can slip this in down here, right? Okay. So you've come along the wall, right? You're vertical, all this stuff, and you're like, okay, Eric, now what do I do, right? And so if you mitered it, right, you'd miter these at like 60, right, to get a nice sharp point. Mm-hmm. 45 is not going to get you a sharp point. So you miter them at 60, and then you're going to have a clip strip that's attaching it right here, and a clip strip that's attaching it right there.
Like.
Yeah, horizontal, or excuse me. Yeah, so you're going to have the ends of your clips here, and to your point, absolutely. You need to make sure that you start with a clip here instead of the gap. So I see exactly what you're asking, right?
Well, yeah. What I think is whatever it clips here, I gotta measure to, right?
So that and that's where more than the 1.5 inches from the end, that there's a clip on either side. So like if you took, I don't know what I do with the pencil, but if I took the pencil and I said, no tape, you got tape? Whatever. Perfect. So if I said this, and I went 1.5 inches.
That's my furring.
That you got to make sure there's an attachment right there, right? And then you come over here.
A clip.
So then I go 1.5 inches over here, right? So what I'm going to make sure that I do with my clip strip is, and I think this is exactly what you're asking, but tell me if it's not. But I'm going to make sure. Oh shit! It needs to go that way anyway. But I'm going to make sure, okay, see, that's good, because I'm on the inside of the 1.5 inches. Now, if this was cut here, right, and I was like this, that's no bueno because I'm like on the outside. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm here.
Yeah, right. Now you got too much cantilevering over the miter. But if you're here, you're golden because here's your 1.5 inches. Now you've got an attachment method right here. Same thing over here. If your attachment is inside that 1.5 inches.
Because this right here is your this is your factory.
Factory, yeah, the factory. You'll know the factory because the factory's painted in.
Okay, once I cut it, if I measure from here to here, then whatever this is, that's the space that I need to have if I have one that's cut like this one.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Correct. Yeah,
Yep.
Yep. So it does take a little bit of like.
Yeah. I just need to know. I mean, I don't want to figure. We will figure it out, but I think that if we have this in video, then it's easier for me to explain to the guys. Yeah. So that.
As long as you don't violate that, create a cantilever of that product more than that. But then you got to go back to the board, and before you even start doing your courses, and I know you're probably already ahead of this. Then you got to go. Well, all right. Now, if I measure my whole wall, right? Terrible at dropping tape. I have 17 tape measures in my house. So if I measured the wall and I went, oh, okay, yep. So they hit it right at. Let's just say it was 48. If I've got a 6-inch showing face plus a 1/2 inch reveal, so like that's what? That's 6.5. So then I would do my math to where I would want to program this to where if I'm starting at X and then space, measure, then I'm starting at Y, which will mean that I'm gonna have to cut this board right here or right here, and then I go and I look at that how I started.
How you get 1, 2, 3 points of contact,
two,
or
you gotta
2?
have at least 2. So you can cut here, or you can cut there. Any closeness, all the way up to the edge, you have to leave 2 attachment points. So you can do the small gap if you need a smaller board.
So this has 1, 2, 3.
It has 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And so you got to leave 2.
So now let's say my wall comes up to and I have to rip it here, then I can do it.
You can, but if you don't have 2 attachment methods, you have to get a color match screw, pre-drill this board, and screw it
into another hat channel
or the wall or whatever. It don't matter. Like
if I have the hat channel, I'm gonna have a gap, so I have to put another hat channel there.
Well, so let's just say that like there was no way to make this let's say you had a wall over here that it was dying into, right? Let's just say that there wasn't a return. If there wasn't a return, that means you have an approximal space. You can't push anything else around the wall, right? You tracking? You can't push the spacing of the boards around the wall into the return. You got a dead stop. You're dying right here. So if you died right here and it turned out that really what you needed to do was scribe a board that is less than that, cool. Cut it. The board's stable, but you just can't use this attachment method. You would just need to use a screw or, something. He's not looking, cock it in, or messing with you. I know.
He moved back a little.
Listen, I gotta build some rapport here. Okay?
That's full. All right.
I'm gonna make you do the punch, Eric.
No, I think I got
sense?
it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. In my head, I think
I've got kind of a squirrel brain, so I can.
I already need another furring here so that it doesn't go like this. If I have to cut it here, and then I'm not getting two.
Ideally.
Because on the soffit, I think what you're saying it might work because this has nothing, so I can go to it. But if I'm using that hat channel and then I'm away from it, and I'm cutting here, this is gonna be like this, right?
Well, what you do there, I wouldn't use the hat channel. I'd take a piece. I'd block it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I need a block. That's right. Yep. So I need a treated wood to put there.
And block it so that it's level with your hat channel, and then just face screw.
That's just if it happens. I gotta know.
I was just thinking that it's like we don't have a set dimensions, the width of that, the exact dimension. To understand how many planks it is, if you're going to have the 2 that you're referring to, that's not set over there. We don't have that. I don't see that dimension, so we have to address that.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
And that's what I'm addressing now, so I can have it up front. Okay. Cool. Keep going. Sorry.
So
but I do want to do one outside corner if you can. I know you're ripping. I don't know about ripping that at a 60 degree. I'm not sure how well you're going to. I don't know. Maybe this.
I think we can come back and do that ourselves, and I'll do it for you guys, so we can have.
Yeah, I mean, and
table saw
if
would
we-
be much better.
Yeah, it would be. I mean,
Yeah.
if push comes to shove, we could have two guys hold it down on that pallet, and we could cut the edge with.
No. I think once you show me how to take this off, then I can come back and do that small little
The miner's
corner,
the
and then.
least of it. How to set
Again,
the miter
I
up.
still have to sell it. So when we have this thing installed as mock-up, I have to get my president to come out to look at it.
Right.
And
Well,
I want
actu-
him to see something that looks good, not.
Since this is vertical, I mean, table saw is optimal because you need to rip miter it, right?
Yeah, we have
You need to rip miter, which you could rip miter with the table
Yeah.
saw, but anyway, whatever. We'll get there and we'll see what we want to do. Okay. So, all right, let's carry on here, and we're gonna install.
So you're gonna cut